So it's time to do a wheelchair rights report about these new parcel lockers from Canada Post. And this is absolutely terrible. This is not wheelchair accessible. And to my horror today, I go to my regular mailbox and I open it up and there's a flyer in there from Canada Post announcing that they just installed this thing in the lobby. So I look at the flyer that they gave me. It doesn't have a website you can go to get any information. It has a general 800 number for Canada Post, and you call it, you dial the number and you get this computer, and it gives you like a 50 to 100 different options, but not one of them is an option to talk to anyone. And there's no option to talk to click on this number if you want to talk to somebody about these parcel boxes here, these lockers, and there's nothing. So I spent 15 minutes, going through this thing, and I finally managed to get a human being. Then I get that human being talking to me for half an hour, and I start explaining to her the problems with these boxes, which I'm about to tell you. And the lady says to me, I really don't know too much about them, and she's working at the call center, so she says, I'll transfer you to someone that really knows what these are about. So she transfers me to a lady that's been working there a long time, like a supervisor. And after I was done talking with the supervisor, she admits to me that she says she doesn't even know what these boxes are. She was arguing with me, telling me that Canada Post doesn't have any boxes inside buildings. I said, yes, they do. And she said, no, they belong to the building. I said, no, this doesn't belong to the building. This has got Canada Post written right on. This is a Canada Post box. Anyway, the supervisor didn't know anything about it. So we've got this box sitting in my lobby. Canada Post sends out an expensive piece of flyer in the mailboxes, two-sided, and it doesn't have any information technically how these things work. And I'm going to zoom in, I'm going to show you now, and I'm about to tell you just how unsecure these things are and how bad this is, and especially for people who are in wheelchairs and disabled people, because Canada Post should realize that all the parcels that are delivered to homes are done by Priority Post. This box is not for Priority Post, but they're going to be putting Priority Post in it. And they should realize that most of the customers that shop online are people that are disabled. And the flyer actually says, oh, delivering the online world to you. And I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to show you what it says on the bottom of this box here. So you can see right here that it's exactly what they're promoting. They're promoting online shopping, which is what they're claiming this is for. Okay. And they didn't realize that the people that would use this the most are people that are disabled. So I'm about to tell you a horror story of how bad this is. So you see this thing sitting in the lobby. There's the buzzers over there. This entrance for this building is not wheelchair accessible. It may look it, but there's no way for me to open these doors. And if I manage to go push that door open to get out, I'll never get back in the building. So that's a really big problem. But I'm going to tell you a lot more serious problems than that. So bear with me, because this is a long, lengthy report, but it's worth it. So I can't get to it. Now, when you're sitting in a power wheelchair, your feet are in front of you, so whenever you're up at a counter or anywhere, the counter has to be to your side. You basically only have one hand you can use because you're reaching to your side. So I would have to pull up with my hand on the left and my controller on this side. Now, you look at this setup here. How would a disabled person using only one arm be able to reach up, turn the key, unlock this thing, and then try to pull a parcel out of there, and then have the parcel in their hand, and then lock the door back up? And then after that, with the parcel in your hand, you're trying to move your chair. You're supposed to put your key inside that slot up here. And that slot doesn't work. I already had somebody check. You can't even open the slot. Now, you can see the information that's on this mailbox. There's no information here about how this works. And if you go to wheelchairrights.wordpress.com, you'll get to see the photos and more information about this. So there's a lot more I've got to tell you here. Okay, so now I called up the call center and I asked them a lot of questions and they didn't answer one of them. And I said to them, I said, you should realize that these parcel boxes should be catering to the needs of the disabled, which is the law. And they've got this in an area that's not secure. I hope that thing is really heavy, because a couple of guys could easily grab this thing, throw it down the stairs, break it open, and grab stuff and run. I don't know if that's me that I steal or not. So I have more to say, and I'm trying to remember what it is. Anyway, there's so much information to tell you. This box is absolutely not useful. I'm just going to tell you something else right now. I'm going to show you now. Okay, here it goes. Oh, yeah. Now, this building's got 150 apartments, and you've got 6 lockers. And if you look at the locker and the information on it, or the flyer they sent in the mail, and if you call the call center, they have no answers. So there's no way to get any answers about anything. And I asked them on the phone, I said, if somebody puts, a mailman puts a parcel in there, he's going to drop the key in the mailbox. And how long will it sit in that mailbox in front of you here? The parcel. They couldn't answer me. Is there a time limit? 2, 3 days, 4 or 5 days, a week, 2 weeks, what? Because if you get a parcel notice delivered to your home under your door or something, they'll hold your parcel for 2 weeks at the post office. Can you imagine people getting deliveries here and putting them in there, and it sits in there for 2 weeks? This parcel box isn't going to serve 150 apartments. Impossible. And so they couldn't answer me on that one. Now I said to them, I'm going to get a key one day, and what am I going to do with that key? I can't even get into the lobby, and I can't even open those doors anyway, especially if I have a big parcel. I just can't use these boxes. So I said, what am I going to do with the key? I said, I called this phone number to get that answer from you. You can't answer me. I said, what should I do? Throw it in the garbage? Or should I take it to a post office and say, can you please come on over and open the box up and give me my mail? And well, they're not going to do that either. So if I get deliveries done in that box right there, I'm going to lose my deliveries. And I can't see me asking strangers, and I can't sit in this lobby for hours and hours waiting for somebody to come by that might open the thing for me. That really is not very private, and it's not secure, and I'd rather not be doing that. But now, supposedly the regular mailman is going to be putting stuff in this box, and he's going to have to do 2 jobs now. So when the mailman comes in, he comes all the way over here, and this wall right here is where they should have put that box right there. I was told the property owner claimed that they didn't have room because of that light. They could have moved the light. So the mailman comes over here. He opens up all these boxes. He's got all kinds of things on the ground, and he's loading them up. And if he's got a parcel that doesn't fit, he's supposed to put it in that parcel box you just saw in the lobby. And I said to the Canada Post, I said, that parcel box should be right here beside where the mailman's working, because he shouldn't have to go running back and forth. So what he has to do now, the mailman, is he has to finish his job here, and then he's got to go back over here, and he's got to put the parcel in that box. But most likely that box is going to be open. I mean, it's going to be full, so he's not going to do that. But I can't see the mailman going back and forth like this. Then I asked the Canada Post, how is the mailman going to know when there's a parcel in box C, let's say, that's been in there for 3 weeks or a week or however the time limit is? Is there even a time limit? Canada Post couldn't answer me. I said, how's the mailman going to know that box C has to be emptied? How's he going to know? Who's going to know? And who's going to do the work? So, that's not a priority post box. That's a regular post box. So you got regular post. So that box is not going to be serviced by priority post. Now, the red box right there, it says right on the flyer that you can put your regular mail in there. So I asked him, I said, well, is there going to be a mailman guy dropping by here now, driving down the street, coming over here to this building every single day to check the mail in that thing? I mean, there's not going to be that much mail in that thing. Most people don't use mail anyway. So they couldn't answer that question. And there's so many other questions that I had for them. And in the end, the lady was getting mad at me on the phone from Canada Post. And I said to her, she said to me that she's got questions for me. I said, you shouldn't be having any questions for me. I'm the one that's asking all the questions, and you haven't answered one of them. And you haven't solved any problems. And I said, this is the way it is with Canada Post. And the biggest problem that I had with Canada Post living in this building is that for 2.5 years, I watched this happen. The guy was driving his truck over here, parking it in front, and sitting in his truck with Canada Post, and you come usually late at night, like 6 or 7 or even 8 o'clock, and he'd sit in his truck and write up all the slips, and then he would take those parcels that he never delivered, never rang the buzzer, and that buzzer rings my cell phone, so I know if there's someone at the door delivering something, and if there was, I would just tell them, I would let them in, and they would drop it into the office over here. So for 2.5 years, I never received any parcels from Canada Post because the guy never brought them in. So I called Canada Post, told them about it, never fixed it. Called them 6 months later, they never fixed it. And I kept doing this, and it took me 2.5 years, and they never resolved the problem with the driver sitting in. And I told the guys at Canada Post, you've got GPS on your truck. You know exactly where that truck is. You know he was sitting there at 8 o'clock at night. Because I was up and down. I know when my parcels are coming. Because when you send things by priority post, through the internet, or you buy online, there's a tracking number. You know exactly where your parcel is, so you know exactly when it's coming to your door. And that's why I saw the guy sitting in his truck, and he wasn't making any deliveries. And I told the lady on the phone, that's the kind of service you get from Canada Post. They don't serve anybody. They don't answer any questions. They don't even provide a phone number that has an option for getting information about these boxes when they send the flyer out. The lady said, "Oh, we have a Canada Post website." I said, "Well, how about if I go on my computer, which is sitting right in front of me, and I go to your website and you show me where that is?" She didn't know because there is nothing. So Canada Post puts these things in people's lobbies and doesn't care. I mean, you can't take my money where I pay $35 sometimes for a parcel, a small one, to be delivered, and you don't deliver it. You're stealing people's money now. And so Canada Post is not really Canada Post, it's Canada Poop, because they're really pooping on everybody. And go to wheelchairrights.wordpress.com to get more information. There's more problems with this box. Believe me, this is not wheelchair accessible. I cannot use it. If it was inside the building, it'd be safer, and I could wait when someone walks by and ask them to open the mailbox for me. But I can't sit over here in the building while they're over there, and I give them the key, and they can run off and whatever. I mean, I'm just not doing it. It's not safe. And that should have never been put there, blocking the front entrance. And if I'm in my wheelchair, okay, I can't open these doors. It's impossible. They're too heavy. The door closer is too strong. There's no power doors here. So if I park in front of that mailbox, I would be blocking people coming in and out, just like this guy. So I'm going to ask the building owners to move that thing. And Canada Post wasn't helpful. And the building owner, like everybody else that I've ever talked to, that's why I have a wheelchair rights website. You can be nice about it. You can talk to people and ask them if they can change the way they do things. Nobody cares. When you become disabled and you're in a wheelchair, you may as well be worse than a dog, because we even have laws to mistreating pets and everything. You can get fines and all kinds of things, but there's no laws, there's no fines, there's nothing for mistreating disabled people and not caring about their rights. So go to wheelchairrights.wordpress.com and you're going to see a lot more. And the point about that website that I created, and there's a lot of really fantastic reports and a lot of information. Please share this information with other people and get involved. And maybe for the first time in history, there could be a protest somewhere in a city for the needs of disabled people, because they have protests for every other issue you can imagine in this world. But there's never been a cause or a protest or an event or anything pertaining to how disabled people are completely neglected in our society, and they really are. Don't think they're not. Try being disabled, you'll find out. Go sit in a power wheelchair for a day and try to roll around and see how people look at you. Have a good day. Bye.